That's legacy stuff that most Harley guys are never get nowhere
Yeah,
near, and
that was a huge
11-year-olds out
show.
there doing burnouts. Yeah, that's nuts.
It's
It's
crazy.
so cool though. But that's my prediction. The industry will, you're going to see more kid involvement, and I think that'll be our next evolution, right? You're going to start seeing younger and younger stunt riders. And I mean that kid's 11 doing it on a Harley. I plan by the time Trent's 10, if she's still into it, I'm gonna put her on a Sportster.
What's up, Doug?
What's up, Drea? How are you?
Good. I'm so stoked to be talking to you and excited to hear your story about how you got into Harley stunt riding and where it took you. So, would you be able to kind of go through for my audience who you are and what you do and why you're interesting?
Yeah, my name is. I don't know. But my name is Doug Meeker. I own OF Performance. My Instagram handle is Daytona HD Wheelies. I got one leg, and I ride an '06 Road Glide, an '02 DX that's back there behind me, and I've been into this for a long time. I rode BMX and moved into started riding. I got my first Harley in '05 when I was in the Army, and was riding some motocross at the time, and found out that this was something that could go somewhere, and started messing around with it and really got into it about 2010. Started trying to stunt ride, and then 13, 14 really took off with it, and lost a leg, and then here we are.
Did you lose your leg stunt riding?
No, yeah, that was a bad experience. Slid through a corner on my bagger. My crash bar came back and crushed my foot, and broke my foot. No big deal. And then I had shrapnel in the back of my leg from when I was in the military, and this little callousing piece bust open and gave me a bone infection, and then all of a sudden a toe started dying and more, and here we are.
Holy shit. Did that fuck you up and make you not want to ride?
Not make me not want to ride. I was actually in the height of kind of like, where my career was in the motorcycle world. I got out of the Army in 13, and I opened what was called Triple D Motorcycles. And I was actually on probably one of the very first few performance baggers ever built. And I know I was one of the first, at least five, if not right around there, one of the first guys ripping it on the bagger. Back then, it was just like Cole Freeman, the unknown guys had their FXR, kind of build that was kind of the bagger, and then there was a few other guys, but this is 2014 when I started on the bagger. So
Did you learn on the bagger?
no, I started on an '05 Dyna, and then moved to the bagger, and then got in my accident, lost my leg. I was down for a year, and it was so bad. It was so miserable because I'm 6'1", 260 pounds as I sit right now. So I'm a big guy. So it was hard to go from being a big guy and then moving into being in a wheelchair for a year of my life. And I'm a very active person. I was in the military and everything, played a lot of sports, rode BMX, done motocross. And so being stuck in a wheelchair, as you can imagine, as a high end density person, it messed me up for a long time. And I was out of it for about 2 years, came back around to it all, and I got on the bike for the first time. And when I got on the bike, I actually fell with it, and I landed it on my stump, and it was still wrapped up from surgical stars, and
Oh,
smashed it.
oh my
That was probably the
God.
worst pain I've ever felt in my life.
Your doctor was probably pissed.
Oh, beyond pissed. He's like, "You did what?" And then that put me in longer, and I had to do the hyperbaric chamber for 3 times a week for it was like 3 months or something. And that's, if you guys don't know what that is, that's a big fishbowl thing. They put you inside, and then they bring all the everything out and changes basically your altitude level, and it gets the blood flowing. And I felt like a goldfish in it. It was terrible.
It's to help speed up healing, right?
Yeah, yeah, it gets the blood flowing more and everything. So it gives you kind of like an oxygen high and stuff.
Oh, we're getting some
Sorry,
wiggle.
Hershey's moving the camera.
Hershey's his dog.
Yeah, yeah, she's
That's
wild.
that's crazy, wild story. how far were you in your progression of like wheelies and stunt riding before you lost your leg?
So, but when I first lost, right when I lost my leg, I had just gotten to a point where I was starting to get pretty good with them, and learning how to lock in and everything, and a lot of those guys back then, kind of like that was when I first met like Joey Wells and those guys, and so guys, we were getting into that, and then after I lost my leg, it was back to the drawing board because this is my left leg, so I can't hook,
Mm.
so that's been the biggest challenge, and it's kind of a running joke. I always put Daytona HD can't wheelies because my wheelies are absolute trash. But yeah, I can slide a bike, and I love to slide. I love to do a lot of drift combo stuff. That's what me and my daughter do skits where I drift around her, and it's just fun. I'm literally in this for the fun of it. I love motorcycles, as you can see. I'm kind of a freak about it, and here we are.
Yeah, I love that. At least you kept going, because a lot of people would quit, even though it didn't necessarily, it wasn't a stunt related accident. But I mean, it's hard with one leg, I
So,
could imagine.
well, one of the things that I found is kind of just being a hardhead all my life. I had this thing about wanting. It wasn't for anybody else. It was for me to come back. I wanted to come back and actually just ride, and
Mm.
I missed it. Like I missed it terribly. And then I came back and I started riding, and then I realized like there's people out there that I could help. Like there's people I can talk to. So I actually, funny stories, I became a peer counselor for amputees. And so I started going to the hospitals and talking to people, mostly that lost their legs in motorcycle accidents, because I live in Daytona Beach. This is the old school biker capital of the world. We get a lot of people here. And
Mm.
so I started doing like motivational work like that. And I found that me riding helped people, like people that had lost their legs and are having issues and stuff. So I was able to give them kind of a motivational story. So it's nothing to get a DM or something, somebody going, hey man, my buddy just lost his leg. He thinks the world's over. Can you talk to him? And I can't tell me people I've talked to while they're laying on the bed, the day after they lost their leg. Because that's the moment in time that you go, shit, I don't have a leg. How do I do this? How do I do that? What do I do now? And the reality check is nuts. That's, near death experiences. I had those in the military, but losing a limb, and that's what you like focus on. What do you do?
Wow. Did you
So,
learn anything from stunt riding that helped you overcome that?
so I would say between stunt riding and all forms, like from the BMX when I was a young kid to the motocross to what led me into Harleys, because as you can tell from all the guys you've interviewed, most of our guys are coming from motocross and BMX or
Mm.
skateboarders that are coming over to this scene. And so I think getting a hurdle, I mean, when I joined the military, my parents, we had something like 20 something waivers that they had to sign for me because I had so many broken bones from BMX bikes. So, and then that transferred to the Harleys, and it's an adapt and overcome mentality. Like, why, nobody's going to help you. You can't grow it back. So you got to learn how to live with it.
Either sit there and suffer in your own mentality or find a way to overcome.
Yep.
I love that. And you
Wait.
build custom parts through
Yeah.
OF
So,
Performance and Tap It Right. Have you
yep.
ever made anything to help you ride better with your prosthetic leg?
So we've tried all kinds of different things that we've been talking about because to go back to the wheelie game on how that's trash on my level, but trying to figure out how to hook. And so we had a bunch of ideas of building hooks for the leg, and then come to find out is the problem is the suction. And as you go to lean back at 260 pounds, and
Oh no.
now I'm on the ground. So it's yeah, trying to figure it out and how to make it work and adapt and overcome, but it doesn't stop me. I still have fun with it. So
Hell yeah. What about making a seat, a better seat?
we've thought about that because it's basically getting a better seat is going to involve getting a really really tall seat, like even bigger than what our step ups and everything are now. And I don't even like the original BMC wall. That I mean, I'm
Mm.
pretty sure that seat was this tall.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
huge.
but if I was a smaller guy, it would be easier. But the problem is, it's going to have to be such a big seat. It looks gaudy. So
Yeah, it'll be the
I have this
grandpa
thing.
seats.
Yeah, it gets. So I have some ways I'm working on it, like lifting the rear of the tank, trying to get my thighs under the rear of the tank so I can stay into it like that. So some different ideas I'm playing with. So we'll figure it out.
Yeah, dope. I'm excited to see that. Hey, what's up, guys? I hope you're enjoying the episode. Real quick plug, I want to invite you guys to our online wheelie coaching course. This is exclusively made for Harley riders. We created a 3-stage progression method that is guaranteed to teach you how to wheelie. This is for day one learning riders. It's broken down from day one all the way to balance point. With this course, you get our exclusive members only Get Vertical app that makes it easier to access while you're at the lot practicing. You also get to join our Facebook community where we have a group experts in there all ready to help and other Harley stunt riders learning from each other. You'll also get invited with online group coaching with Bruce and I, where you can ask us direct questions about your progress and any struggles you're having. You can sign up at getverticalcoaching.com. Link will be in the description. Anyways, back to the show. So how has stunt riding helped you with your businesses?
So what's great about being in the motorcycle industry and being into all these areas is, and stunt riding is, I pretty much, and you can probably almost always notate, you know what's going to go wrong with your bike at some point. You know what's about to fail. If a wheel bearing goes or something, you feel that. And so doing this all these years, stunt riding has taught me to identify things a lot easier. So I can tell you when a crank goes out on a bike real quick. I can compensators. People will call me with noises. And I'm like, hey, is it this? And next thing you know, we get a message, and yeah, you were right. So identifying bike problems, helping fix them, and developing badass products to go on them.
Yeah, did you start your business before you started stunt riding?
Yeah.
So
So I never got in heavy in the stunt riding until I met a bunch of guys out here in Daytona that were doing sport bikes. And then I had brought my dyno over. I was doing my chaser wheelies with 14-inch T-bars, club style, down the road, and the coolest guy in the town and stuff, because back then there wasn't, everybody was still on sport bikes and stuff, so nobody really had respect for it. Always called it my son's anarchy bike. So they always ragged on me, but that's where it all started. And I had already had the bike shop, and it all kind of bled into it.
That's sick. Did you notice? Because I'm always curious because I think that stunt riding helps like propel any moto related business. Do you think it's actually helped you like with marketing and building trust within the motorcycle community?
Well, 100%. I tell my employees that all the time. I'm like, look, man, like this is, I've been doing so many of these things and knowing where it's going to break and how it's going to break and having an idea and knowing what to apply somewhere. And gaining that knowledge from this to that has just expanded it. And it's made it, I don't know, it's really taken it to the next level, helping me have a product line that's actually in drag specialties, fuel moto, cycle solutions. We're carried all over the country, and it's without guys like you and your husband and Cruzy and all these people doing this. We're kind of the backbone to the smaller side of the industry. But Harley looks at that. Look at what they came out with their STs and stuff. That all came out after we all started building this stuff.
That's sick. So tell me about you just invented something.
Yeah. So I actually have two patents. As of day before yesterday, I had my second patent, and my first one is on my Tap It Right product for the Harley Davidson Milwaukee 8s.
What's that
It
do?
actually fixes the broken bolt inside of the actual motors for the Milwaukee 8s. So it's been kind of a big deal product. It's on a lot of big horsepower bikes and a lot of race bikes.
That's sick. And you made those brackets for the headlights.
Yes. Oh,
Those are
you
sick.
this over here. So this here's our 2022 CVO Road Glide, and we just did a partner deal with Ultra Cool, who's been one of my sponsors for a long time. And what you guys really can't see, but you can find it on the Instagram with Tap It Right or 1F Speed. So this is a Baja Designs 10-inch headlight on top, and then it's an Ultra Cool built in under it. So now, not your oil cooler won't be down on your crash bar or anything anymore. It's going to be up in your fairing, and you're still getting. I think that headlight's got like 36,000 lumens or something. So they're bright enough.
So I don't understand. Can you explain to me what the Ultra Cool does? Like what? Explain to me like
So the
a kindergartner.
Yep. So Ultra Cool is an additional oil cooler for your bike. So even with us stunt riders, I think Bruce might have one on his Road Glide. but the oil cooler will mount on the side of the frame up between the crash bar and everything. And this oil cooler has dual fans on it. That fan system kicks on with a thermostat system that pulls air through it, so it helps cool it. So you get around 60 to 80 degrees with that oil cooler out of the Harley oil. So it makes them run so much nicer and so much cooler. And that right there is a must, especially down here in Florida. And if you guys don't have them out there in Arizona, you're going to want to look into these things.
That's sick. I love that. Shoot. Yeah, I'm building one. So I don't know if you guys make them for the older models.
So that's where we will have that next, because I have my '06 Road Glide that we're building right now, and I'm going to make a bracket system for that one too. So we will have it for all years, all the way. Basically, you're going to go 2000 and up, depending on your fairing conversion.
Yeah, yeah. Don't forget about us, stunt riders. We all ride the old shit.
Listen, I joke about this and everything and stuff, but all my bikes that I directly own, not owned by the company or anything, all of my stuff is old carbureted twin cam, because that's what we ripped.
Yeah.
You know, Makuni carbs, baby, ripping through them. So, yeah.
That's funny. So you,
I can't even run half my product.
what initially drawed me to you is that you share your passion with your daughter, Trinity, right?
Tren, as we call her.
How old is
Yeah,
she?
this is her helmet behind me. She's sick right now. She's six.
She's
Six,
6.
getting ready to go on 7. Actually, probably going on 16 the way she acts. So,
So does she do a lot of shows with you?
yeah, actually, a lot of shows. She's done Orlando. I think she did a Jacksonville show with us. We hit Tampa. So most of our shows she hits with us. It depends on time frame and where mom's at in school and everything. So, but she's wild. She loves it. She knows how to feed off the energy of the crowd and everything. She'll start doing her little burnouts, and she'll take her hand off now and pump them up and everything on the Stasic. So it's I'll tell you now, the truth is I think all of my stunt riding and all of my bike building and everything, that it kind of revolves around that kid. Because I want to build like a real legacy in this industry and be able to hand it off to her. And she's what keeps me solid and in my drive, because this stuff is stressful. I have a few companies and everything, and it's a lot.
It is a lot. It's a lot to be a parent and try to balance it all.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
Gray hair. I'm not even 40 yet. I got all this. I mean, I'll at least, if I run out of a job, I can at least work at the malls in the winter, Santa or something, so I'll be all right. But yeah, how do I deal with it, man? These guys, they always joke. All my employees, I got a couple of them sitting over here in the background. They're laughing. I'm nonstop, so it's a lot. But I'm always been kind of a high energy person. But it's stressful. But when it's a passion, and your passion is something that you absolutely love, you're not really working. It's just long hours.
Yeah, maybe you can give me some advice because I'm going through a crossroads right now with my business journey. I'm still new in the business aspect world of whatever I'm trying to build, and I don't even know what I'm building. I just keep going, and I'm right now I'm trying to focus on like the needle moving things instead of trying to do it all and saying yes to everything because I literally can't do everything being a parent. So I don't know
Yes.
what your advice is on that.
I think the biggest thing that I've learned, and what, not only owning my own business, but being in the military, is you got to learn to delegate. You have to learn how to give it over to other people, let other people take control of some things, and you have to find people. If there's, I'll take that back. The best thing that I can actually tell anybody that owns a business: have partners and give percentages to people so they have skin in the game. Because as well as I do, working for somebody else, no matter what, how much you love it, all you're getting is that paycheck. And you're just like, well, I'm working my hours. But if you have a small percentage, or you let people earn percentages of your business, now they got skin in the game, because you go, listen, not only do you get your paycheck, but every profit margin period, every quarterly period or something, you get a bonus check. And if the better the company does, the bigger your bonus check. So you get people that care more. And that would be 1,000,000% my biggest thing I tell everybody.
You know what really fucking blows? This LEXIN P5 Advanced Smart Tire Pump. It blows up to 150 psi. So when you guys see me giving you free smoke all day, it's because I got my LEXIN P5 with me and I'm able to change my tire anywhere I go. It's super compact and it can fit in your backpack or your saddlebags, and it also doubles as a phone charger. It's super fancy, comes with a digital adjustable setting that you just set and go. So loosen the pressure and get yourself a LEXIN P5. And you can use my discount code GETVERTICAL for 15% off lexin-moto.com. So how do you do that in the beginning stages of your business when you're not really making that much money?
So that's going to be a dedication level. You're going to have to find somebody that wants to do right what you do. I mean, I have guys that, you know, they make good money, but I mean, don't get me wrong, there's times we're building performance motorcycles. These are not cheap. Our engines cost around $14,000. So there's times things can be slow, and you just have to find people that are dedicated. And that's the hardest. That is the hardest thing, is finding somebody how to learn to look. We're going to risk all of this. We have this amount of money. I'm going to work 3 days a week at a regular job, and then the rest of it's this. And you have to scrounge. And when I say scrounge, you're the last one that gets paid, if you get paid. You know, and it's hard. It's not just hard. I mean, it's suicidal hard sometimes. Like it's people. That's why not everybody does this. Some people are leaders, some people aren't.
Yeah, that's great advice. I just shout out to Blake. I just hired an editor, and I'm so grateful for him right now, and it's been helping so much, and I want to do anything to make sure that he stays happy because I need him, you know?
Yeah,
And he's
yeah,
definitely getting paid before me. Let's put it that
yeah,
way.
100%. And that's the sacrifice part. But having a keep, that's a puzzle piece that you don't have to foreshadow and make work. That's something that already works. I'll tell you. So it's a funny story of how I did that. Is I was like, I can't afford anybody to edit, and I know marketing's a big deal, and I can't afford to. So when I had right before I lost my leg, I was back in college for a marketing degree. So I was going and learning how to do all my own editing, how to do all my own projection work and everything. And I got lucky enough. I have a GI Bill from the military, so it was all paid for. And that was the way I do it. So I run all of our marketing still, and I still do our YouTube editing.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a
That's the
lot.
tip of the iceberg. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Are we gonna get to meet Trinity today?
So yeah, she's supposed to be calling me back. The little booger. So I called this afternoon, and she was. I called and I was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm with mommy at work." And I said, "Why are you with mommy at work?" And something didn't sound right. She's like, "I don't feel good. I woke up and I was throwing up." I'm like,
Oh
"Oh no!"
no.
It's kindergarten. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, if it doesn't work, then I mean it's hard. Let me see. They may be traveling still right now. She said it would be a 50-50 shot here. But Hershey, you want to sit up here? You're sitting. Come here. Oh.
Doug, try calling her on her cell phone. My phone just turned on.
Okay. All right. Well, we're in the middle of the interview right now, so.
Try calling her on WhatsApp.
Okay. Bye.
Yep.
All right. Let's see if she answers.
Does she know she's gonna be talking to me today?
I told her. Yeah, I called her earlier, and she was like, "Oh, the girl that rides." I was like, "Yes." She's funny. Let's see
I have a
if I can
6-year-old
interview her.
too.
Oh, oh, I didn't realize she was 6 also.
Yeah, she's
So do the
almost.
kids ride with you guys?
Yeah. My
Yeah.
son loves it. My girls will do it, but they're not obsessed.
Hey, so listen, I'm gonna turn you around here real quick, and I want you to say hi to everybody. All right, you ready? Good thing I have like a tablet cell phone. We'll see. Trent, can you see everybody?
Hi, Trinity.
I can't see anybody.
See him up on the screen? Look,
Hi.
there's Hershey.
Hi,
Say hi,
Trinity.
Trent.
I'm a big fan of yours.
Say thank you.
Thank you.
Do you love doing shows with your daddy?
She wants to know if you have fun riding your motorcycle shows with us.
Yeah, you do.
Yes,
Do you have more fans than your dad does?
of course.
What new
The
trick?
smile.
What new trick did you just learn how to do?
You gonna tell her about our burnout video?
Can she hear me?
Yeah. She's being shy.
Yeah, that's fine.
Trent, you gonna tell her about your burnout video? Oh, you're just gonna laugh. Well, hey, can you say thank you for having us on?
It was nice meeting you. You're welcome. I'll talk to you later, okay?
All right, Booger. We'll talk to you later.
I'll have my girls write you a letter, her a letter.
Yeah, yeah, we'll do. Yeah, she was. It's so sad. I saw that she's laying there in the bed with like the washcloth and everything. She's not feeling great.
Oh, poor baby. Well, how has it been riding with her? She doesn't give you a hard time at all because my girls, I mean, though they like riding the Stasic, but it's not like they're asking to ride it, if that makes any
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. So it's I don't know. I got she does she loves riding. I got very lucky, as you see. Some kids are into it, some kids are not, and it's hard. Probably coming from I could the best way to associate it is probably be coming from what mom and dad was doing. I know when I grew up, what mom and dad was doing wasn't cool to me. So it's it's kind of they probably don't realize it, and then in 10 years they're gonna be like, oh wow. So she loves it though. Her bike every time we get home from school and everything. So I have a green little pitty, and I jump on the pitty, and she jumps on her Stasic, and we'll go do our hot laps around the neighborhood and stuff. She'll work on trying to bounce it up in the wheelies and everything. We don't have
What?
control on the brake yet. So what I'm trying to do with her is I want to build her a little 12 bar for it, so I can start degreeing her out and teaching her where to jump it up to.
Have you seen those little
So
things that people have built for bicycles where they land on the back of their couch? It's just like, yeah, it's set up like a kind of like a wheelie bar, I guess, but with
yeah.
their bicycles, and they could learn balance point. It's like a
Oh
Jimmy
really?
rigged kind of way to learn balance point
Yeah.
and kind of get the idea of braking. It's really cool. I'll send you it. It's like a homemade thing.
Yeah, that'd be perfect because then I
Yeah,
can sit around while she's that.
yeah, and they could do it inside, you know,
Yeah,
just to figure out
especially when our
balance.
summers are starting to get hot, so you know how that goes.
Yeah, has she figured out yet that you're doing actually a performer and you're doing these shows, and is she questioning anything yet? Like what's going on?
So I think so. I've been doing this ever since she was born. So and then having the motorcycle shop and doing bike shows and doing all this different stuff. She has always been around big crowds and everything. So Hershey. So she's so used to jumping around with that and seeing people and being at big bike shows. Like she's been to a lot of the rallies. She's been to Myrtle Beach. She's been to a few of them, and so it's not anything new to her. She just knows when we're doing a show that she needs to smile and she needs to get people pumped. And I was like, if they're not being loud, you got to get them loud. So she has a lot of fun with that. So, but the biggest thing for us is learning safety, though, especially for our stunt shows.
Oh yeah, yeah. The
I'll
reason
play
why I
with you right
asked is
now.
maybe she'll get it more the older she gets. My daughter's in first grade now, so maybe once she reaches like around first grade, I don't know how her friends are finding out about Bruce and I, but they're telling
Go.
her that we're famous. And so she's asking, are you guys famous? Then why is everyone
Yeah.
clapping for you? Why are you doing these things? And why do you have a YouTube? And, that she knows what YouTube is. So I was just curious if you experienced anything like that yet. It's just now starting to happen with us.
Yeah, so Trin knows like at school. So right now we have, go on, go play. We have a pretty. So our first, like the biggest viral video that I have is just recent, and it's got like I think we're at almost 8 million views right now. And it's me and Trinity doing nose to nose burnouts at Orlando Harley Davidson. She's on her Stasic and I'm on my bagger, and that she just knows that she's like, Daddy, people say they see our video and stuff. They know me from a video. I'm like, yeah, you knew in burnouts. But so that's the only association she has to it. She just thinks it's normal. Like this is what everybody does.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't that crazy? That's so cool,
It's so
though.
funny.
How'd
It's
you,
so innocent.
it is. How'd you teach her how to burn out?
So it started with the stance on her little Strider bike, standing up, and I learned her to lock her thighs on it. And I was like, all right, pretend you're doing a burnout. And she would do that. And then the Stasic, we started with against the wall, but getting to her the concept of like, look, you got to just rip it. If not, it's going to climb the wall because that thing doesn't have front brakes at all. So then she got the concept of holding it with her thighs. And then once she did that, we just did a video where she comes sliding in, she stands up, rips into a burnout, and I'm coming in behind her on the dyna, and I start ripping circles around her and everything.
I saw
She
that.
keeps doing a burnout. As I exit, she takes off behind me.
So they have to pinch their legs to keep it from moving forward. That's their front brake.
Yep. So you stand
Uh,
up, lock your thighs to the bike and everything, and just get the weight off of it, and just rip it, and it'll do it. She just burnt through her first tire for the first time, and it
Really?
popped on her. And she was like, "Daddy, I
Sick.
popped my tire."
That's so
Oh, she was
sick.
so stoked on it. So I kept it. I have it. It's going up on the wall and everything.
Wow, that's a proud dad moment.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty cool. It's I don't know. Like I said, man, the kids keep me grounded and everything, especially with her. So, and we take her to the stunt lot. And the kids have their own little lot area they ride, and I'm looking over there, and she's teaching kids how to do burnouts on her stay sick. She's got other kids riding around two up on a dirt bike, and I'm like, oh man,
That's
here we
awesome.
go.
So you have other family friends at the stunt spot.
Yeah, so our stunt spot is kind of like a Sunday ritual around here, which Sunday Fun Day is great. But our spot turned into like everybody from Harley technicians at the dealerships come out there. We have people that just bring out racks of beer and sit on the other end of the court and watch us. And so everybody meets in the morning. We do breakfast at the Beaver Bar at 10 a.m. for the ones that aren't hungover. And then come to the shop, change out tires, and then we're on the road and we hit the lot by 1 o'clock. We're normally there till 6, 7 o'clock at night.
That sounds like a great culture. You mentioned off camera that our stunt scene's a little bit different than yours. What do you mean by that?
So what's cool is I have a little bit of a mixture of everything. That's what we tell everybody. We have so we have me, obviously. What one of our big crowd pleaser tricks is I take my leg off and I drift circles around it. So that's what. So then everybody, I tell them like our stunt show is definitely way different than yours. And they're like, oh, sure it is. I'm like, can you do this? I'm like, I'm pretty sure I win trick that I can do, and maybe a few others can do, but there's not very many that can do that one. And then having the kiddo in it, that's great. You know, we had Low Life down here, Low Life Stunts. Dylan, he did a show with us, and you know his little boy Ryder rides and stuff. And so we're trying to get them in a show together, get two little kids doing those and those burnouts or something crazy. But you know, so that environment, having that, and then we have another young man, Brandon Malott. He's Brandon Malott 98 on Instagram, and actually Brandon was one of the first guys to circle wheelie a road glide.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so he was. It was there was a guy Chuck, his dad, and then forget who the very first one was, but I mean you go way back on his videos a few years ago, and he was circling his road glide. So it's pretty cool. He's a very humble kid, doesn't have a big following, and he's one of those guys. He literally does it for the love of it, and he rides for Recluse.
Okay.
So Recluse posts him a lot and everything. So we both ride for them, and he's a great kid. And then we incorporate another guy, Bird Gang Stunts. He comes in and does shows with us, and he's another Purple Heart veteran like me. And so we have a cool grasp of everybody from a 6-year-old all the way up to almost a 40-year-old man. So we're not doing too bad.
That's cool. So how is it different from like our scene?
So I think what down here we get, it changes the look for the West Coast versus the East Coast. It's crazy how different the two coasts really are, and especially in the different game because you know we still have I see out there in the Cali area and Arizona and all that. You guys have more. I guess the best way to put it is stunt bike set up Harleys, handbrakes, things like that. Out here, like we have East Coast and a lot of those guys, everybody's kind of real old school, like no handbrake. Like that's the thing I haven't done, and I still won't do it because of the leg. I still am being like a brat about it. I'm like, I ain't putting a handbrake on. I'm hardcore Harley guy, and and I've seen this debate all over the place, but I'm like, I just can't. I can't do it.
Good thing I didn't recommend that because I was thinking about it.
Yo, you're 100% right. I mean, I tell everybody, I'm like, you're right. But I've never owned a sport bike. I went from BMX, I had motocross bikes, and I went to a Harley. I've never owned a sport bike.
I'm sure
never
you.
wheelied one.
I'm sure you saw that debate with us and Trent and Sammy and Kevin. And I think after watching it a few times, I figured it out. It's who inspired you. Whoever inspired you, that's what your idea of how it's supposed to be written
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think you're right because a lot of the stuff that when I started into it, like I said, there wasn't many guys, and then Exposed from the original East Coast and guys came out, and all this stuff started happening, and it was like we're Harley guys. Like a couple of those guys grew up, they're just Harley guys. I've been an all Harley guy. I'm not putting a handbrake on, and it's the I will die Harley all day. I'll wrap that thing around a pole, but without a handbrake.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, 100%. The original Hell Yeah Brothers, the original Dyna Bros.
So you've been around since the beginning of Harley stunt time, basically. How has it evolved?
Everybody rides one now, at least in the guys. And it's now you see the girls. Like I've watched all your guys' stuff. Now you're seeing all the girls, but it's like it used to be we could name every single guy that rode a Harley that was stunting it because like you were a big deal. And then it just saturated. The St. Louis ride all of a sudden went from sport bikes leading the pack to where there's Dynas all up through there and everything. And then the bagger scene came along and now there's baggers up front. Sit down Steve and all them boys converted over. And it became the cool thing. I mean, and it's your grandpa's bike that we rip on now.
Yeah. I often say it's a good retirement bike though, because you don't really have to do anything on it other than like a sit down and you're good to go. Like you don't
Yeah.
have to be doing anything crazy on it and you're still badass.
Yeah, they're just it's the cool factor, right? Because it's still kind of new, especially to the communities and everything. And it's one thing to see a sport bike and everybody's like, "Oh, cool," but you come by on a bagger and they about wreck their car, they don't know what to do. So but it's I think also the big thing is it's American. It's red, white, and blue as you get. Patriotic 101. They built bikes for the war, and every military guy that came back and got one. That's why most of your military guys, you come back, see, they get a Harley, and they join a motorcycle club. It's the MO.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. You're so right too. It is all American.
That's the hell yeah, bro.
The hell yeah,
It's
brother.
yeah, it's 100% the brother club, and I will tell you, I am 100%. I've got really bad Harley tattoos. Like I've got the barbed wire Harley bar and shield, and I got that. Man, I was 21. And
I heard
I'm
that's like
30.
the second most tatted tattoo, and I forgot what the first one was, but it's even more tatted on people's body than Jesus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or the
See, I didn't
cross.
know that.
Isn't that crazy?
So that is crazy.
That's
But I mean,
huge branding. I talk about that
think about
all
well,
the
it's a
time. How
culture.
it is a lifestyle.
100%.
Harley Davidson built such a strong brand. It's yeah, it's unreal.
Well, it's a
It's
marketing
inspiring.
dream, right? Like you built something here in the United States, and then you started, kicking everybody's ass from overseas, racing them on the woods in the 40s and 50s and everything else. And now look, the bike that everybody's like all of us young people back, everybody, I ain't getting no Harley. I was like, I wanted a Harley because they're cool. And then all of a sudden I was like, hey, this Sportster will do a wheelie. The hell is this? And then it just progressed, and then look where we are. But also look at our generation though too. BMX, motocross, skateboarding. We were the original like hardcore extreme sports people, and
The
we had to
grunge,
graduate.
the grunge movement.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's dope. You mentioned earlier that you had is it the Ultra Cool sponsorship?
Yeah.
So how does that work? I've always wondered. You know how shops have sponsorships? How do they sponsor a shop? Like, what do you get? How do they
So
sponsor you?
that's
Like, what does that mean?
so the sponsorship is actually through my stunt riding. So I'm actually so the sponsor is through stunt riding. So I'm sponsored by Ultra Cool, Sawicki, Legend Suspension, Recluse, Revolution Performance Engines. So like I actually have contracted Hard Drive WPS. I ride for them. Fly Racing. So all my helmets are all Fly Racing, all my glove gear and stuff. Highway 21. That's what all my shoes are. And everything. Actually, these are Fly Racing shoes. But yeah, so it's more of on the shop side, it's a contract deal. So what happens is I have like a partnership deal with them for doing product. So now this is a product partnership deal, and we all accept basically the R&D work of the side of it. So we're prototyping and developing and everything.
You know what I've noticed? now that I'm starting to dive into the moto business side of the world is all the relationships that you build with your sponsorships as a personal brand stunt rider, we'll say, they bleed over into the business world, moto business world, and help you with your business.
Oh yeah,
It's so
yeah,
cool. And that's why I
yeah.
always like preach business to my audience as pertains to stunt riding because it'll all align together at the end of the day. Okay, I seriously cannot be the only one that does not trust insurance companies. Don't you feel like they never pay you what you deserve for your accident? That's why I always call Law Tigers. They're specialized motorcycle attorneys. Yes, there's a difference between motorcycles and cars. That's why you need to call Law Tigers because they are the experts and you are not. And what's dope about them is you don't have to pay anything out of pocket. It comes out of your settlement. So if they don't get you paid, then they don't get paid. And the best part is once you call them, they take care of everything for you. You don't have to think about it at all until you're signing the paperwork saying case closed. Don't let these insurance companies screw you over. Call Law Tigers and tell them that Drea sent you. If you're local to Arizona, call my boy Jay. I'll leave his info in the description below.
You got to remember our community's like that big in the entire world, you know. So I mean, if you think about it, to put it in perspective, Harley Davidson builds on a yearly average yearly is 55,000 motorcycles a year. There's 331 million people in the United States. So put that in and break it down and think about. I mean,
Wow.
even if you're talking millions of bikes, it's not that many. So it just kind of puts it into an area to show you what exactly you can and how big it is and how much of it. It's not like think about the BMW world or I'm a Chevy fan or I'm a Ford fan. Everybody's got one of those. Not everybody's got a motorcycle.
Yeah, and then it niches down even more if you do Harley. Well, it's cool because you built these relationships as a stunt rider, and then you might have like an idea for a hard part, and like you said, you collab with a partnership that you've had for years through your stunt riding.
Well, and that's so that would kind of led my pathway. So one of the cool programs I do now is so I have a partnership into a machine shop, and then I have my own powder coat facility also. So what I tell riders and people around here is, let's say you have a cool idea for a product, right? If your cool idea for a product is something that has to be able to be mass manufactured, it has to be able to be created in a costly manner. And if you do, you bring that to us, we'll sign you a 5-year royalty deal on a product and help get it onto the market, brand it through us, and help you bring your dream alive because it's not easy to start. This has taken me a decade to build, to do all this stuff. And it's, you know, it's one thing to build a couple of products and say you do some stuff. It's another to mass manufacture and put it in basically every major motorcycle parts catalog in the country and try to keep up with it.
It's really hard. We've been trying to fab something up, a part up, and it's a pain in the ass. So we've been thinking about collabing with one of our partnerships on something, but we don't even know how all of that shit works and you know how the motorcycle industry is. You just it's hard to trust anyone.
100%. I had parts stolen from some big name companies that I don't know if I want to pick that fight on here right now, but it sucks. And I'll tell you, NDAs are your friend. You know, non-disclaimers. Make sure non-disclosure agreements. Make sure you have NDAs. Make people sign NDAs before you show them anything. And everybody always asks me, and probably what should be a lead-up question is about patents. I'm going to tell you, everybody thinks they have something patentable, and I thought so for a long time because I had a bunch of other ideas. But if anybody can change something basically 12%, your patent's no good. And it's very hard to make something that isn't going to infringe on another patent somewhere.
So how do you overcome the betrayal of something like that, that someone steals your idea or someone that you trusted steals something from you and it and you trusted them and they're your friend?
It sucks. Uh, it just happened, you know, just recently, and it's I don't know. You help people and you put your heart and soul into something, and you want to make it better. You want to bring to the community because I love this community. I am by far not one of the best stunt riders. 1,000,000% not one of the best stunt riders. I'm also not one of the best, bike builders in the world, but I absolutely love this. And for somebody to, infringe on your dream and your passion, it sucks. And that's why, they talk about, everybody's like, oh, my circle's this, my circle's about that big. And I can name very few people, and it's not worth it. You got to keep your circle tight and just try to learn about the people you're around, but it'll hit you from out of nowhere. It'll be people that you will not even expect.
Yeah, that's painful. And to find the forgiveness to overcome that and then trust again is hard. Well, you mentioned that you don't ride streets and you only stick to the lot. I feel like you're like the only person that has said that out loud besides me.
Yeah, no. Listen, they rag me, and I'm like, bro, I'm already missing a leg. I mean, granted, if I lose the other one, it's gonna be really cool if I keep riding. But I don't feel like doing that. I don't need to shave another 15 pounds. I look good the way I am.
Yeah, I hear that. And I love that you consider the professionalism as far as like it doesn't look good for sponsors and I talk about that sometimes too. So I just wanted to hear more on your thoughts on that.
Well, my thing is with the street riding, and here's the thing: these guys are out there that are swinging lane to lane in traffic. It looks sick on camera. Would I love to do it? Oh God, it'd be such a cool video. But it takes that one time. It takes one time, and it's all over with. It's either your life or a limb, and either way, it's not. I mean, just going down. You've wrecked before. Going down on the simple kind of small wrecks we have, but you go down at 65, 70 mile an hour, and then not say that. Say you get clipped by a car, it's over. So what did you do it all for? Where does it all end up, right? Like they'll tell me that you're scared. I ain't scared. I've got combat deployments and everything. Trust me, I'm not scared to ride the streets. I'm smarter than riding the streets. Do I disrespect the guys that ride the streets? Hell no. Shred it. I love watching your videos, like the boys from Vulgar USA and all them guys. I'm an Ohio boy, so I love all those dudes up there. And keep shredding it, man. It's sick, but I got a nice 3/4 mile court stunt lot that's right by a performance shop out here, and we had put my trailer out there. We've got AC, we barbecue, and we rip, and it's just as good. And I'm getting paid. We get paid to do stunt shows. My sponsors give me product and money and everything else, and I keep it professional. You call me what you will, but I'm a lot guy, and I'll be a lot guy. You'll see every once in a blue moon me do something on the street. Once in a blue moon. There are videos. I will drift across the bridge, but there will be absolutely zero traffic. There will be nobody. It'll look like it's a closed course situation because I'm not doing it in traffic.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And you mentioned your daughter, and that's pretty much why I don't ride the streets is because my kids, like, I have something that I have to go home to. Like before, I loved the streets. I didn't ride it all the time. I was more of a technical rider, but streets were fun, and they still are fun. Don't get me wrong. It's just I don't know if it's worth it anymore.
Well, I mean, before I had Trinity, when I had two legs and I was just learning, I was ripping all the street stuff. I was going to the Jacksonville rides. I was going to the Broward ride. I'd go over. I mean, we were traveling up to like Ohio, Indiana. We're doing all the street stuff. And then, it just got to the point after I had her, and then after obviously losing the leg, and now the leg's not from a stunt accident. I just went through a corner, right? But the thing is you think about it, and it's, I could care less what you have to say about me talking mad because I'm not on the streets, but look what I'm doing. I have my own business. I build my own stuff, and I would rather not be down, be hurt, or get in trouble. Or, I mean, they're giving tickets now from Instagram if they can identify the street or a background of where you're at.
That's crazy.
So why would you want to, those fines get expensive too. Plus, Daytona Beach, we have live PD every Friday night. So if you guys want to see any of our stunt riders that ride the streets, just watch live PD on Friday night. They're on there all the time. All the time. All the time.
Yeah, I was just watching Sit Down Steve's interview on Fast Life about his encounter with the cops in Florida.
Oh my goodness, at Daytona.
Yeah.
Did you see the video?
No. I heard about it when it went down, but I was like checked out from stunt riding at that time. But the most heartbreaking part was when he said that he had to sell his dogs because he was in jail. And I'm like, see, this type of shit is why I don't ride the streets. Like, it fucks your life up. It ruins
100%.
your fucking life. his girlfriend broke up with him. Like, no, I'm good.
It's listen. Here's the thing. I mean, the best way to say it. Look at what we both had in common to the whole situation. Kids and responsibilities. When you're 25 years old and not worried about being late to work the next day or something, and you have no real responsibilities, what do you have to lose? And I understand that, but here's the thing: you don't realize how fragile life is until the moment you almost lose it.
Love that. I love that. Do you think
So
that's
that's
really when your perspective changed when you lost your leg?
No, because and it's as weird as it is because I got blown up in Ramadi, Iraq, December 5th, 2004. I got hit on a rooftop with a mortar round and killed my two friends next to me, and that was the day that I learned that it can end like that. I mean, I can tell you the last conversation I was having with those guys. I can tell you the last thing Suarez said about his girlfriend, and I can tell you the last thing about Nelson, about the girl he just met before we left Colorado Springs. I mean, I remember it as clear as it was yesterday, and it's so that's I learned how fragile life was after that, and then the problem is after taking such an extreme hit, an extreme loss, and being in the hospital for such a long time, you come out and you come back to the civilian world, as we call it, and to the States, you feel invincible. I just got hit with a mortar round. Like, what okay, I'm worried about wrecking my Harley? You're out of your mind. And that's one of the things that drove a lot of this. I mean, I was pushing. I was 120 plus on that bike. And I was in a bad state of mind. My ex had taken my daughter and hid her from me, and so I was in a very bad place at the time, and Captain Invincible. And when I went down, and I woke, I didn't even black out. I got up, I pulled myself out of the ditch, and came up the hill and turned around, sat down, did the military thing, patted. I'm like, all right, am I bleeding? Am I dying? I don't know. All right, I'm wet. I don't see blood. I stood up. And I can remember taking that first step, and holy crap, I screamed. And it was a quarter mile to the light, and I was back in like these woods, like a marsh area off the backside of the airport, and walked to it. And these homeless guys, this is the crazy part, homeless guys come out of the woods, help me walk the rest of the way. I get down there, I give them all the cash I have in my pocket. I couldn't even tell you what I gave them. And I fall down. Nobody would stop for me, so I crawled out in the middle of the road.
So they had to
And
run you
somebody,
over.
yeah,
Just
and
to
somebody
stop.
finally stopped and called an ambulance.
Holy
So,
shit, that's a crazy story.
so learning about fragile lives, it's one thing to get in an accident here. It's one thing but to see something so traumatic at I was 18, 19 years old. I was 19 years old, and watching both your best friends, and I'm not talking like, just some like little holes and they died. I'm talking gruesome. And then you come back to a place where there's no war, there's nothing like that. What do you feel like? I mean, you're Captain America. Nobody can touch you. Fuck you, bro. I've been blown up. You know. So and that's the mentality, and we were trained to have that mentality. And then here you sit, and it's until you really realize. And kids do that. I think kids do that wholeheartedly. Kids make you realize.
So you think the transition was having the kid made you realize like you're not living for yourself anymore. You're living for her.
Yeah. No, it's Trin makes the world go around for me, man, and that's she's my everything, and that's why I incorporate her in so much of this. And we're making a father-daughter T-shirt right now. It's pretty cool with us doing nose and nose burnouts.
Oh, I would
So
love one.
yeah, we'll get you guys some out. It's super cool. So I'm hoping what's happening is a lot. So what I think is going to happen, here's my prediction, and we'll call it now. So the Harley world transitioned to the stunt world from all of us guys riding BMX and motocross and stuff. Right now we're all getting older. Now my bet is you're going to see more guys like me and Low Life Stunts with their kids doing stunts, because we're the generation that grew up doing stunts, and we want our kids to be involved. So I think there's going to be this big merger of involvement for these kids, and that's what STASIC's basically built around. is the hope for parents that have extreme sports backgrounds to put kids on electric dirt bikes.
Yeah, have you seen that one kid? Is it Baby D Stunts or something like that?
Yeah, baby D Block.
D
Yeah,
Blocks. He's a
yeah.
beast.
Oh yeah, he's rode with us a few times,
Yeah.
and we met him. So Trin did her first. We did our first Larry when she was 3, and that was the first video to ever go out with that. And that was at a Jacksonville lot day, and they were there riding with us. And so like that was when like kind of the Harley thing, and it's so cool to see him. Did you see him at Mama Tried?
Mm-mm.
So Mama Tried, do you know what that is?
Mm-mm.
So Mama Tried is a big race that they have at a couple different locations, but the biggest one is at the Harley Davidson Museum, and there's a Coliseum and indoor track there where they do the indoor flat track. And he went out there, they let him come out onto the track. That's that video of him wheeling out there.
Yeah, okay, I remember. I remember seeing that video, and he had to do the burnout, and the dad lifted up because it's slippery.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yep.
Mhm.
So then the one that he was doing on the outside track that all the people were around, that was the Harley Davidson entrance to the museum.
Oh shit.
Yeah. That's legacy stuff that most Harley guys are never getting nowhere
Yeah.
near. And
That was a huge
11-year-olds out
show.
there doing burnouts. Yeah, that's nuts.
It's
It's
crazy.
so cool though. But that's my prediction. The industry you're going to see more kid involvement, and I think that'll be our next evolution, right? You're going to start seeing younger and younger stunt riders. And I mean, that kid's 11 doing it on a Harley. I plan by the time Trent's 10, if she's still into it, I'm going to put her on a Sportster.
Hell yeah. Do you ever get any shit from obviously the internet and other people?
Oh, the Karen committee. Yo, they're so funny. There was this one, they said, "Oh, could you just imagine if he let go of the brake and ran that kid over?" And I was like, and I comment on it. I'm like, oh, kids are pliable. They'll be all right. So the bike's like 900 pounds at most. She'll be perfectly fine. And they lose their minds. Yeah,
I'm scared of that type of shit. Like even at the lot, we'll sometimes put the baby in the backpack just to like get footage or something. Oh shit. See, I'm
Yeah.
even nervous saying this out loud. And I get fucking nervous when people take pictures and think it's cute and then post it. I'm
So
like,
here's the thing. Think about this though. Here's my comparison, right? So I have friends that do like circus stuff. They do trapeze work with their 9-year-old. That's 80 feet in the air. How is it any different than what we do? Oh, we have a safety net. Well, we do too. We have safeties. I'm not doing anything with Trinity that I don't know how to control. And if you go back and watch, there's a video of me and her. She's riding the bagger, and then we transfer. I grab the bars and I swing it into a circle, come into a stop, and I shift through 3 gears doing a burnout, standing next to the bagger, and I start walking it with her, right? So she's still on the tank by herself. I'm walking it. Well, then it got heavy and the tire got real slick and it walked out from under me. But she knows when it goes down, she knows to step away and she knows to hit my kill switch for me. So if you
wow.
watch, she hit my kill switch.
That's
So
sick.
it's training, man. It's the same thing as the circus. If people can get away with throwing their kids 80 feet in the air, we can throw our kids on Harley at the most 20 mile an hour. You know what I'm saying? Why not? It makes sense.
Well, I think it makes sense to us because I get what you're saying, but I think to people that don't, because people haven't even seen this before. Like this is so niche that when they see it, they're like, "Oh my god, what the fuck?" They're freaking
Yeah.
out.
So I think one of the biggest things that I demonstrate onto that. So one of the things that I like for our stunt team we pride for is we say, hey, we can ride like a super small area. So you'll get like bars like we did a video in the it's the hot bike it's the hot bike bar now, but it's the Broken Spoke. They changed the name so many times, but there's a video of me with the owner of LEXIN. He's holding an American flag, and I'm drifting circles in the middle of the crowd inside the bar during a concert. It was actually during the Lucky Speed Shop multi burnout. I'm swinging circles in the back of the pack in the middle of the bar.
That's so cool.
So the biggest thing is, you guys can control such a small area, right? Like, you know how to. So what I do is just demonstrate. Look at how I ride. I talk. Like the biggest thing I like doing is like microphone talk. Like talk to people how through it and everything. And one of the things I'd like to incorporate into my shows that I think a lot of us should incorporate is microphones, not with our announcers. Put them on the riders. Put them on like Bruce. Bruce would be awesome to talk people through the stunt as he's riding. They will lose their minds. That was like telling people what you're doing with the throttle, with the clutch and everything, how you're working the brake, and and it'll give a relation to people too. So now they go, oh shit, I get that now.
Yeah,
And
now I
think
know what
that's
I'm
one of the
watching.
new- Mhm.
Because half the time
100%. That was
they don't understand.
no, people can't. It's hard enough. How many people do you get, especially girls that transfer over to the Harleys, even some of the sport bike, just getting a simple burnout because it's so intimidating. They're so heavy, and especially a Sportster is even more top heavy than any of them.
Yeah.
So just getting somebody to do a burnout's a big deal.
Yeah, that's true. You know what I just figured out? This is a new hack of mine. This is a random thing I figured out. So I usually wear my AirPods and mute it at the lot because it's so loud. Well, I put my helmet
Yeah.
on, and normally I don't, because I like to hear my bike. I don't
Yeah.
mute it, and I muted it this time, and I was way harder on the throttle because I couldn't hear it.
Really?
Yeah, so
See,
I was like ripping, and everyone's like, "What the fuck? You were on your gas way more." And I'm like, maybe it's because I'm scared of the sound of my bike that it intimidates me.
I could see, I mean, so what I found is so Julie, James the Reaper is her social media. She actually works, she's a Harley mechanic that works for me. Well, she's got a new Milwaukee 8 Road King, and she wanted to start doing burnouts and everything on it. And I couldn't figure out what she was doing wrong because she was so light into the throttle. And I looked at her and I looked inside her helmet and I saw her Cena or something was on. And I was like, yo, I was like, turn your music off. I'm like, you got to hear your motorcycle, because I think in the learning phases, right? Like they don't understand that RPM's got to be up, because the lower that RPM is, that bad boy's going to climb out from under you or do something real bad.
Yeah.
And that was what I was getting with her. She was washing her front tire, trying to do rollers and things like that and just learn. And then I figured out, hey, turn your music off. Now I ride without music, but now what I'm going to do Sunday, I'm going full loud and I'm not going to listen to that thing. Maybe I can get into that RPM a little bit higher.
Yeah, it really helped me, and I think it's because I had to gas it really, like, I had to be on the limiter to even hear my bike, and I wasn't
Yeah.
comfortable not hearing my bike, so I was just on the fucking limiter the whole time.
Yeah,
It was
that's why
sick.
I see that makes sense. Yeah, 100% makes sense for, riders have been doing it for a while. But like, yeah, my newbies, I yell. They're sitting over here laughing in the background. Like, I yell, I'm like, yo, turn your music off and listen to your damn motorcycle. Like, you got to get those RPMs up. But now you got me going to try something new. So as soon as I post a crash video this weekend, I'll update it to you.
Yeah. Well, for the new, because I just learned rollers, and I've never really learned it before because we lived in Washington and it rained a lot. So it's
Yeah.
really a brand new trick for me. And I was the same way. I was like light on the gas because it's intimidating. But what Bruce always tells
Makes it harder.
Yeah, what Bruce told me that helped me is, well, there's two things that two different people told me, but one is it's safer to give it more gas, and it's true. It's actually
Yeah.
safer because it won't move your front tire. And then
Yep, that front tire is not going to wash.
yeah, and then Hooligan said something on the podcast that changed my whole perspective and helped, and I think about it every single time. Just act like you know what you're doing, basically. It's all a
Well, yeah.
confidence thing. You have to commit. You have
That's
to.
it. I mean, that's a military mentality. Listen, you can go into the shit show not knowing nothing about the shit show, but as long as you walk in and pretend you know everything about the shit show, you know about the shit show. And that's the best way to put it. Like, walk in there, I know everything I'm fucking doing, in the back of your mind going, I am fucked. I have no clue what to do right now. But I mean, it's the full sin moment, right?
Mhm. Yeah, totally. And I guess I learned that about life.
Yeah.
That's what stunt riding
Yeah.
recently taught me about life is just fucking go. Just go. You don't know how to do a podcast?
Don't
Just
ever
fucking
take
do it.
no. Yeah, that's it. When people tell you, how many people you'll ask, and it's always, I always try to tell people the hardest things about owning businesses and everything. But I tell them, like, look, if you're not committed You just can't do. You got to go full send. There is no half throttle. There is no quarter throttle. You have to go full fucking send, and you have to risk it all. And you might lose it all. I lost it all. I had my shop before OF Performance was called Triple D Motorcycles, and I was because I have two younger brothers. It's Doug, Derek, and Danny. So I called it Triple D Motorcycles, and then I had amazing shirts. They said all the girls love the D.
Oh, that's so good.
Yo, I made so much money on that. This day and age, who knows, actually, but.
So I got a
But
question
yeah.
for you that since you're further along in your entrepreneurial journey,
Yeah, I'm not even gonna attempt it.
you get what I'm trying to say. Um, do you ever know what you're doing? Or like do you ever figure it out or is it just you're fucking
You figure it out.
you
You
do?
figure it out. You do because you have to figure it out. If you don't figure it out, you fuck everything up. And like, and here's the thing: everybody thinks, oh, it's just a motorcycle shop, or oh, it's just a parts company. Yeah, there's taxes, there's payroll taxes, there's making sure all your credentials are up with all your drag accounts and different things like that, making sure that this customer's happy, making sure they don't have warranty, making sure you're not burning this, making sure this product's getting done on time, and then on top of that, you have to figure out how to market it. If you don't have the money to do marketing, you got to do your own marketing. And let me tell you, where you become the evil genius on this whole thing, my office is covered in whiteboards. It's all whiteboards, but then it gets even crazier. My bedroom at my house, my one entire wall is whiteboards. I literally get up in the middle of the night and I write down an idea. I'm not lying. I'll send you a picture of it. It's just numbers and drawings of parts and everything. I get up in the middle of the night and I'll update something because I just randomly come up with shit. I'm like, I better write that down.
So your
So
brain is
it's
just active.
you have to everybody that I've ever met that owns like a multi-million-dollar company, that not just a local company, right? Like an internationally branded company, or even just nationally branded, you have to be going at all times. Like, you guys rode for Daryl. Let me tell you how far back I go with Daryl and Gary. When the Road Rage 3 first came out, I had a bike. You can look on hotbike.com and look up the Dirt Tona Bagger. And I built that bike in 2015. That's the first big performance bagger, one of the first ones, right? And I had done R&D work for Gary and Daryl on the Road Rage 3, on the Road Glide. And when the Road Glide pipe first started hitting the axle, it was a lot of it was my fault because I didn't notice it when I R&D'd it on the bike, and I didn't get it back to Gary until later down the road. So there was already some cuts, so they had been hitting the axle. Yeah, so I used to ride for Bassani. Back it was 14 or 15 till like 17. And then when I lost my leg, everything kind of fell off. And then I got picked up by Sawicki. I actually ride for Sawicki. I have had a lot of great luck with their pipes. So I've been involved in this scene for a long time. And so I know a lot of these guys. So, I mean, you know how Daryl was. Daryl was always a goer, but people don't know, like, he wasn't at the warehouse a lot or his office. He was off in the country at his house, way out there. But his house, he had all of his mad scientist ideas, and they don't know where he came from in the Mustang world. A lot of people don't even know he was a Navy vet. So Daryl was an amazing man, and the industry really lost somebody that helped pave the way for the performance world when Daryl passed. And what you guys did, what Bruce did, and everything, that ride and the Instagram videos. Kudos to you guys, because that Daryl was more important than what even the young stunt riders know, because I've been around this industry for a long time, and Daryl's one of the guys that brought a lot of the 2-in-1 game to the world outside of Vance and Hines and Thunderheader. He made something that was real performance and with the stainless look, and helped not only change the game but pave the way to the performance and stunt riding world. So I think what you guys did for him and riding for Bassani, kudos for you guys. Great on you.
Yeah, well, I'm so grateful for Gary and Daryl because they really, I think, have helped grow the stunt community more than they even have an idea or understand. Because without
100%.
with,
They were taking on kids they didn't even know. They're like, oh, you're gonna do wheelies? Let's throw a pipe on there. Now look where it's at. This was before any of that was cool.
yeah. And they
So
really believed in it, and they believed in the influencer marketing before anyone else.
100%. One, Daryl did. Daryl was one of the first, especially being an old guy, to
Yeah.
get an old guy to change his mindset. Now, you're 100% right. You are 1,000,000%. That was one of the biggest things with Daryl. You know, I remember when they sent me my first pipe, and this is like 20, yeah, it was like 15 or something. And I was like, I'm the coolest guy in the world. Fuck y'all. I got a free exhaust. You can suck it. Like, right? Like, you're so. And then, like, all this stuff comes together. And then I see what everything that Bassani did. And Daryl, you know, he was out here in Orlando for stunt shows. They would come out for the different events out here. And he was always in the industry somewhere. And he supported everything. And he was, like you said, he is, as I would say, one of the OGs to the supporting of the stunt riding community as a manufacturer.
Absolutely. I love that, and I love that he believed in us, you know. And I think it comes down to, it might have been the trust he has in Gary, because
Oh yeah.
it could possibly
Listen,
be that.
Gary's yeah, Gary is the guy. Like, I remember when I first off, the voice, and then you meet Gary, you're like, listen, no, who's messing with me? I love it, but he threw me off the first time I met him.
What do you think he was
Right?
gonna look?
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
What do you think he would look like?
Well, I was picturing just, you know, some old white guy and everything, and then I get Gary. I'm like, oh, you know, he's gonna call me after he sees. He's like, what the hell, dude? But
It's okay. He
like,
doesn't listen to my podcast.
Oh, okay, good. But he is though. But you're right. Gary's the guy that was behind the scenes. Gary is the definition of what the right hand man is. Right, wherever Daryl was, Gary was there. If Gary wasn't there, something was wrong, or Daryl wasn't supposed to be there. Like, that's how that went down. So he's to put the support, and then to not only that, but to stay with one company for so long too. In this industry, a lot of people bounce around. I used to work for Daytona Twin Tech. A lot of the Dyna guys all run the Daytona Twin Techs on their bikes for the rev limiter bang. Pop, 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 pop. And I was a tech for them, and used to answer tech calls and help do work and everything. And I'm still very much involved with them. And so, you know, I've been all over the scene. I worked for the dealerships. I worked for Seminole Harley Davidson. I worked at the dealership one time for 9 months. And I will tell you that taught me a lot. Taught me a whole lot on how Harley runs their stuff. And I incorporated everything in my shop is all done by computer. You know, it's just like you go to Harley Davidson, you have a regular service record and stuff. And I applied that. That cost a lot of money to buy those programs, but it's worth it. So this industry is very well connected. And if I can say anything, everybody should learn a little bit about not only just, you know, the riding scene, the racing scene, but manufacturing, how dealerships run, how do you keep track of these? If you can understand 5% of all those areas, you'll have it by the balls.
Well, can you give any advice to anyone that wants to do something, but they wants to monetize off something moto related, but they don't know what it is? How do you figure that out?
So, I mean, what drives you, right? Like, if you can evaluate yourself, if you can sit back and go, what if I woke up tomorrow and I had what was the first thing I'd have to do that I absolutely love? What drives you in this? What part of the scene do you truly love? And that's where you should focus on, because that focal point, as in, like, you know, mine went from bike building and the stunt riding stuff. The stunt riding gave me a highlight, right, to my bike building. So how do you make something focused? How do you turn it into a career? And how do you make money off of it? And that's the hardest thing. It is 100% the hardest thing to do, is to commit to that. And as we've touched on this multiple times in this, is commitment is not easy. And if you don't have mommy and daddy money, if you're not able to get a big loan or something, you know, and I tell everybody, don't do it with a loan. If you can start without, and you know you can make the first year or two with what you've got in your bank account, or with what you can do to make side money, do it on your own, because it will add up in the long run. I did this with cash in my pocket, and then I took one small investor because he's a big name he's a big podcast guy for the performance side of the industry. And so I brought him in because he is able to take a load off from me, right? Just like on my parts company, I have two partners. One of my guys is my head machinist and engineer. So I come up with a product idea in here, I draw it up to the best of my ability, and I send it to him. He's just got to know specs, and he designs it. So it goes back to building the team. So you got to find some people committed, just like with you, Dre. Like I'd find somebody that wants to be a part of this. Find somebody that rides, that wants to, that will get you B-roll footage, that will help you film and everything. That's the hardest thing for me to find, is finding somebody to film without having to pay, you know, $300 a day for a camera person to be out there.
Yeah, and when I was looking for someone that was excited to be there and excited to be a part of what we're doing, not a fucking wedding photographer.
Yeah,
You know
you're
what I'm saying?
100%. Yeah, I get them all the time. They're like, yeah, I'll come out there and shoot you. I'm like, first off, are you going to stand in one spot or are you going to freak the fuck out when I come sliding at you? You know, that's my worst thing. I look at camera people like, listen, if you move, you're going to fucking die. If you stay there, we're good. You know, and then all they see is this bagger and a handicapped guy with one leg going, you're going to be fine. Just stay right there. Come sliding the fuck in sideways. So, yeah. Finding a committed camera guy, yeah, that one's a good one.
Oh man, this was a good one. I appreciate you talking to me. I have two questions before we go, and don't hang up when we hang up. But first, where can my audience find you?
You can find me mainly for my social page for the stunt riding. It's Daytona HD Wheelies. And then my product site is at Tap It Right. You can find that on Instagram and everything, all the fun ones. And then 1F Speed is my bike shop. And if you guys just want to see our website, it's www.ofperformance.com. And go check us out. We got some cool giveaways. Actually, right now, Thundermax is doing a giveaway with our product and everything. They did a really cool skit on there. It was pretty funny. You know, Jake and Millhouse are super funny dudes. So they just did a full skit. And also, you can find me right here on this podcast with Drea. You're awesome. You guys are awesome. You really are. And being, you know, into the scene for the time you've been and everything. And I love seeing it from where I came from. I think we need more of this, and I think we need to help people understand. And, you know, I think we're going to see a progression change in the stunt riding world. Like I said, as people get older and they have kids, I think you're going to see some of the street riding stuff kind of go down and be more of lot stuff and make this, you know, family oriented all the way across the board. And I think you guys are doing a hell of a job by driving that.
Oh yeah, thank you. Well, I would love to come out and ride with you guys with the girls. That'd be sick.
Trend's always about trying to get some girls out here. So that's, you know, hiring Julie on for the shop and everything. It's been really cool there because now we specialize. Like this custom bike behind me is this, that she's 52 years old and she's building a full custom 2022 ST. We've got like 14K into this thing already. And so we have been doing these girl builds. So Julie has been doing builds and we're posting them with these girls' bikes and we just keep progressing this. So we have this whole performance bagger girl world that's coming apart and stuff. And it's starting to flourish. So I never saw myself building bikes for chicks. But now I've got Julie. You can find her. Like I'm telling you, check her out. James the Reaper on Instagram. And she posts all these videos of taking the bikes apart, doing work, and she's working with my master tech hand in hand. She's learning. I bet by this time next year, this girl's going to be building full on, 150 horsepower motors with us. And we're going to be able to really bring the girl scene up from just the wrenching side to the stunt side. And hopefully we'll have her doing wheelies by then too.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right. So my
so-
last question, what impact do you want to make on the Harley stunt scene?
I want OF performance, which first off, it stands for 1 foot performance, so everybody knows.
That looks like a
but I
fucking
want-
bong.
yeah. That. Let me see which leg. No, this isn't my sex leg. This is my riding leg. I joke. I'm like, yeah, I got a sex leg, got a riding leg, got a running leg, got a working leg. You know.
Oh, shit, I won't ask.
But no, I mean, I want to build a legacy, and I will. I tell everybody all the time, there's going to be one or two things that's going to happen with me. Either I'm gonna take this fucking thing to the moon and the Mars and everywhere else, or I'm gonna come back in hot and I'm gonna burn it to the fucking ground. So that's you. That's the only mentality you can have. And if you really want to do something, it doesn't matter if it's in the Harley scene or what scene, but the Harley Davidson scene, I will make the impact on this scene, and I 100% will create a legacy in this scene because I absolutely love the scene. It's not to be a big deal amongst this scene. It's a mere fact that I absolutely love this shit. I could have gave up and quit after I lost my leg. I have a medical retirement from the government. I could have just fucking stopped. But I absolutely love this, and I sacrifice so much more than what people see, and I will make a name in this scene for the betterment to help the scene and to do cool shit like what you guys are doing and bring my little girl up in this scene and teach other girls and other people and amputees that you can do this. So just keep it rolling. I mean, stay dedicated. Believe in yourself. Don't take no for an answer. Put your nose to the fucking grindstone and fucking go. Fuck them. Fuck them all. Do your thing.
That was a great closing. Well, thanks, Doug. This is a pleasure. I enjoyed the convo.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate the time.
Hell yeah.